Hey everybody! I was enjoying Chris's intro music today. That was pretty good. Thank you.
It's getting better.
It's getting better. Yeah. You don't feel like you're going to pass out or anything after doing that?
Let me take some deep breaths.
Okay. So it's Saturday. It's 11 o'clock and it's our baking show today. We're going to be doing Oreo Biscotti. If people haven't heard of Biscotti before, it is a twice-baked cookie. And it's not a traditional kind of cookie where most cookies are round. You think of a chocolate chip cookie. These are baked as logs and they get sliced. So let me go back. They get baked as logs for about 30 minutes. Then we slice them and then we bake them again. And so they get really not crispy on the outside kind of, but tender. And they're really good kind of cookies to dip in coffee or hot chocolate. I probably wouldn't dip them in tea because that would taste weird. But they would be good with tea. They're just a nice, when you think about just sitting, reading a book, having a cup of tea, coffee, whatever you like, it's just a really nice type of cookie to be eating. I believe their origins originate from Italy. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me.
You do any research for the show?
Not really. Some things I know just from years of doing things, but, you know. The Oreo Biscotti obviously wouldn't be an Italian origin. But anyway, Chris requested Oreo Biscotti because he loves them. It's one thing he eats a lot of. So we'll get started. So I have all my ingredients out. Today you'll be using a stand mixer or a hand mixer, whatever you use that you prefer. And so our ingredients are 1 cup of sugar. We have 3 eggs, and I always am using large eggs in case you wonder. And these again are room temperature. I had talked about a couple weeks ago how you want all your ingredients to be at the same temperature. Here we have 1/3 cup of melted unsalted butter, and then here we have 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'm going to talk about this 1/3 cup of unsalted butter really quick, because 1/3 cup is kind of an odd measurement when you're slicing your butter to measure it. But on the butter package, and I saved it because I wanted to show you, most sticks of butter will have little indentations, sort of markings of the measurements that you're going to require. And 1/3 cup is a bit peculiar because it's not exactly 5 tablespoons, it's a little tiny bit over. If you use 5, that's fine. But on your stick of butter, you'll see, and it would be folded here like your stick, and it will show you that 1/3 cup, and then you would just slice down there, and you can see, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's just a little bit over. That's what makes your 1/3 cup. But I just wanted to kind of go over that with you in case when you're slicing it and well, it's not even. It won't be even because it's 1/3 cup, and a stick of butter is 4 ounces. So those are going to be our wet and sugar ingredients. Our dry ingredients are going to be 3 cups of flour, and this is 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. You'll see I'm referring to my directions and my ingredients because this isn't one I know by heart. And there's no shame in that. I mean, some people, on these cooking shows, on other networks that are out there, they're doing these recipes over and over and over again. But I've even seen Bobby Flay referring to his ingredient list while he's cooking. So don't be ashamed in using your directions or your instructions. Everyone does it. And then this is going to be 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to put that in there. And I always just like taking a whisk to whisk my dry ingredients together to make sure there's no lumps. You don't have to do a ton. And then the main ingredient really for this biscotti is the Oreos. So this recipe calls for 16 crushed Oreo cookies. And in this bowl I have 8 that I've already crushed. You can kind of see the size that we're looking for. There are some bigger chunks. There are some small pieces. But that's what you want, because you want some texture in your biscotti. And I wanted to kind of go over, because I don't know, maybe some people have never crushed cookies before for a recipe, so I thought it'd be a good idea to go over that with you. So all I have in this little bag, and this is just, you know, a little Ziploc bag, resealable bag, and I have 8 cookies in here, and what I've done is already broken them up a little bit so they're not whole. And I'm going to be using a mallet. If you don't have a mallet, you could use a hammer. You could use a really heavy book even. You could use a rolling pin. Anything that has a good sturdy feel to it. Now you'll notice my mallet has one side that's for texture, or not texturizing, tenderizing, like meat or something. And then the other side is flat. So I'm going to be using the flat side. And I'm not going to bang it right directly on top of the plastic because it could possibly break. And I've done that in the past, and then you have crumbs everywhere. So what I'm doing is just taking a towel, and I'm going to just lay it in there, and I'm just going to start to bang away. I'm not really, you know, banging really hard. I'm just giving it a nice crush. And let's see how we're doing. So you see, as you move the bag around, it's pretty good, but we're going to do another little round. And because these are Oreos, the cream filling does get stuck a little bit. And you'll see I don't put them all like right at the bottom. I mean, you can, but let's try one more round. Ooh, sorry. Just feeling around.
Jen asked if their giant knife is going to make an appearance today.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
Because with these, I use a serrated knife to slice the biscotti after the first round of baking. So unfortunately, not today. But I'll keep that in mind for future. People like the large knife.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just get that in the bag, and you'll see there's going to be some cream, like the cream filling that's stuck. Don't worry about it. Don't try to get all that out. Okay, so we have all our ingredients. So what we're going to start with is our sugar in the bowl and our melted butter.
I tripped over my feet.
Oh, careful. What if you fell? That would have been good. Our 3 eggs. And our vanilla. Kind of going blind at that.
There you go.
Okay. So we're gonna get this locked. Start it low just so things aren't splashing all over. And this is right now on level 4 of my mixer. And what we're looking for is it for it to be very combined, mixed very well. On the instructions that I will post later, we're looking for about a minute to maybe 2 minutes. We want it to be blended really well. I hope everyone's having a nice Saturday. If you're not here in Austin, it's very hot today, and it's going to get hotter. Do we have a question?
Are there other cookies that will work well with this?
Other cookies?
Maybe not with the Oreo?
Oh,
Maybe?
yes. Biscotti is very good You can do like an orange cranberry biscotti. You can do a chocolate hazelnut biscotti. Sorry to interrupt, but so this is a good consistency. We see it got a little bit more pale. So I'm just gonna lift and do a little scrape down of my bowl. Remember, if you're using a KitchenAid, you want to make sure to get that divot at the bottom. Okay. I'm just going to do another quick little stir of that. Okay, and now I'm going to start adding my flour mixture. And as you see, I'm just using one of my little bowls to scoop it in so you're not pouring the whole thing in all at once. But you just have it on the lowest setting and you just keep adding. Going back to the different flavors of biscotti, there's endless flavors that you can do.
Amaretto?
Yes.
Ooh.
You could do an amaretto. You could do like an amaretto with almonds, maybe that might be a good, and maybe some zest of orange would be good in that. Now I would feel this is a good base with the dry ingredients in the wet, whereas if you didn't want to do Oreo, you could just use this base recipe and then add whatever you wanted to. Whoop. Okay, so I'm going to stop that. And at this point, we're going to just add in our Oreo cookies. And you don't want to mix it a ton afterwards, but...
It's locked.
Okay. But we do want them to get mixed pretty well. See, I'm backwards. I'm used to working on the other side, so I'm a little messed up there with so let me move this stuff out of our way. See, it's a very easy dough. And again, going back to that question, if you can do, there's lots of different things that you can make these with because it's a very simple dough that you start with. And there's all sorts of flavor. I remember in the bakery we used to do, I think it was, you could do like an orange chocolate is good. There's so many different flavors that you could do.
Steve Sawinski asked if you could use Malort, but I don't think you would want to use Malort.
I don't know what Malort is.
It's a Chicago booze.
Oh. I don't know about adding a liquid, I'll say, because although you talked about amaretto, what you could possibly do is instead of doing a vanilla extract, let's say you really wanted to do like a lemon biscotti, you could do lemon extract instead. And then do some zest of a lemon in there, and that's going to give you that lemon flavor. The amaretto, I guess you could substitute the vanilla extract for the amaretto. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry, I don't know. Okay. So you're going to get your hands in there, and we're going to get it off our paddle. And this is sticky. This is a sticky dough. You can throw that in that bowl over there. Okay. And if you could do me a favor, in the second drawer here, can you get out one of the bench scrapers?
This?
Yes, thank you. This is a bench scraper or it's a bowl scraper. Paddle. I got them free for, like, certain places if you order a lot of stuff, they send you these for free. It's like the best tool. So, what you're going to be baking this on, we have one just flat baking sheet. Don't know what size it is. I should know, and I don't. I think it's like 18 by 13 or something like that. And I just have it lined with parchment paper. And what you're going to be doing is in your bowl, you see, we're going to be splitting this into 2 segments. Doesn't have to be perfect, exact. So this kind of comes in handy when you have a scraper. Just use your hands to eyeball it. And you'll see at the bottom there's some Oreos left down there, and I'll try to get those mixed in. See all that was at the bottom of the bowl that didn't get mixed, but that's okay. Okay, and so I'm taking some flour that I have in a bowl here and just kind of dipping my fingers in it because this is sticky again. And so what we want to do is we're going to make our loaf. And in the instructions it says like approximately 9 by 13. 9 by 3. That looks kind of like 9 by 3, I'd say. What do you think?
Yeah, maybe a little short, but it's fine.
Maybe a little short, but that's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. The thing about baking is your ingredients must be exact. Baking is a science, and I learned that in school because your measurements do have to be exact. But the outcome, and when you're putting it together, when you're, scooping out your cookie dough or you're making your cake, that part of it and putting it all together doesn't have to be exact. That's when you can do what you want to do to it. The ingredients and what makes your dough, what makes your batter, yes, that has to go by exact measurements. It's not good to all of a sudden say, hey, maybe I only need 1 teaspoon of baking powder. No. If it says you need a 1 1/4 or 1 1/2, use 1 1/2. But, like right now, see, these are not the same size. This one definitely has more Oreos in it than the other one, because I have a whole bunch of Oreos at the bottom here, so I'm going to just try to get those in instead of wasting them. Again, this isn't a glamorous little thing we're making. It's messy a little bit. So I'm already kind of shaping it, over my bowl to try to catch. And you just kind of work it with your hands. Doesn't, I like the way this one looks kind of because it's got a good marbleization. I'm going to move this one over a little bit because these will spread. Work with me, paper. Okay. Spread this one a little bit. Kind of don't like how thick this one is, but that's okay.
Jen asked what your favorite part about working at the bakery was.
I used to, every day we used to make stuff for the case and then for special orders. And so I used to make all the fruit tarts every day and would decorate like our cheesecakes for the cases. And so we would use fresh fruit and decorate it with the fresh fruit. I remember one particular time I did a decoration on a cheesecake, and it wasn't as though I had a rhyme or reason. You just kind of look at it and see what you want to do for that day. And we had a customer that would ask for us to have, or he asked at least one other time for a cheesecake decorated the same exact way that I had done it before. And of course I had no idea, because you just do it as you're, you have like a mound of different fruits and you just go with it. And so, but that made me happy that he kind of remembered the one he had bought and that I had done it. But I used to love to do that, to put the fruit tarts together. And I didn't do cake decorating, that wasn't my thing. That's why I never really do cakes. But I also did like specialty cookies, doing the individual desserts, which is part of my, my business is individual desserts and doing individual pieces, and that's what I really like. So, thank you for asking that. Maybe we'll do fruit tarts one day. That's always fun. So at this point, we're going to throw this in the oven, and it's going to bake about 30 minutes to 35 minutes. When I'm going to test it at the 30-minute mark first. Maybe I'll test it at 25, just in case. And you're going to insert a toothpick into them, and you want the toothpick to come out clean. You may be like, this is a cookie, why do we got to use a toothpick? But because it's a little thicker, we want to make sure that it is baked all the way through. And so these are going to go for 30 minutes at least, and then they're going to come out. We'll come back when we're going to slice them, so you can see the thickness I do and how I just lay them out on the sheet. And then there will be a third segment today for dipping them in chocolate, and I have a special little segment of showing you guys if you want to do some extra little decorations with white chocolate on these, or just anything that you're wanting to work on. So we'll see you in about 30 minutes. Bye.